Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to my channel. This is me, Dre. I wanted to talk about this recent incident that happened in Washington, D.C. University of District of Columbia student Jason Goolsby. He and two friends were at a bank to get money, and there was a white couple and their child. Now, one of the things that I didn't mention, Goolsby and his friends are all black, but the white couple and their child, they were going to go into the bank. Goolsby or one of the friends went to open the door because the couple and the child was in a stroller, so they wanted to be courteous and open the door. At some point in time, the couple, as they were coming in, they decided to leave instead of going to an ATM machine. And a few moments later, the wife of the couple, she called the police saying that there were some suspicious individuals at the bank. They may be trying to rob people. Send the police. So as Goolsby and his friends were walking out of the bank, going to meet up with some other friends, it was said in the story that I read that Goolsby, as he was going to cross the street, a police SUV came bearing down on him. He got out of the way to avoid from being hit, and then he ran. Now, I don't advocate running from the police because it makes you look like you're guilty, but at the same time, when you're looking at the video from when he was caught by the police took him down, of course, and the manner in which they had him down, his arm was basically behind him. The cop had his arm and was pulling back on his arm in an unnatural motion in which your arm is not supposed to go. So Goolsby, yelling and screaming in discomfort, they were trying to say that he was resisting arrest, but in actuality, he was trying to scream in pain because of how his arm was getting pulled on by the police. They eventually straightened his arm out, got it behind him. He was not arrested, he was detained. The person behind the camera, Goolsby's friend, as he stepped forward, a little too close for comfort, one of the cops pushed him off, told him to get back, and then they detained him. Now, for something like this, basically what they call it banking while black, it's a shame that you can go into a bank, try to withdraw money, and all of a sudden some scary ass person, doesn't matter the ethnicity, but some scary ass person gets uncomfortable, assumes that you're up to no good, calls the police, and then the cops come bearing down. It's bad enough they almost struck the vehicle, and there's only so much that you could take from that because that's the allegation, but there's no footage. And a lot of people are saying, well, it's funny how the video starts at the very beginning, but keep in mind, during a police interaction, if a cop approaches you, one of the first things that you naturally don't do is initially just pull out the phone to get that first interaction, to see the first words coming out of the cop's mouth. It's usually something where you kind of get the attention as far as in the middle of what's happening, and that's when you pull out the phone and you start recording what's going on. So yes, one of the things that we didn't see is Goolsby running from the cops. Could be due to fear of almost being struck or run down by the cop. I would certainly be concerned. It's not like you can stand there and stand your ground and say, hey, Mr. Officer, what the fuck are you doing? Watch where the fuck you're driving, nothing like that. But to almost get run down by a cop, whatever the case is, who knows if there was a valid or any type of description of the said perpetrators in the bank. But for the cops to just go blasting down the street and almost hit someone, they may not have been the ones who would have been alleged to have been trying to rob someone. So you get what I'm saying? But it's just one of those things where you're going to continue to hear about things happening in the news, about people being at the opposite end of an ass whooping by a cop, unarmed people, and mostly what's happening this year is a lot of unarmed black people. So some people will claim that this is race baiting, but I'm not here trashing any one ethnicity, whether black, white, Hispanic. I'm simply saying that when you're going up against the police, there's certain people in this country who are privileged to never know what it's like to have to wonder if this is going to be the end of the road for you if you get pulled over by a cop. You do see some of these stories where you have, as an example, a white guy who will get pulled over by the cop. The cop is insisting that he provide him with identification, and the guy is talking about, well, am I being detained? You don't have a right to detain me, things like that. And I know most recently there was a story because a few months ago there's a white guy who was pulled over by the cop because he said he was driving a new vehicle, the high beams were on, and the kid flashed him. So the cop pulled him over, and when the cop went to reach in to pull the guy out, the guy resisted. got the kid out of the car, tased him. It wasn't enough to subdue him, and the kid jumped up and rushed at the cop. And in the scuffle, you hear a couple of gunfires, and the cop killed the kid. This is a white kid now. So now the family is suing the police department for this. But in the video, you do see where after getting tased, the kid lunges at the cops, and then you see a couple of pictures that was showing where the cop had a cut on his forehead, a little bit of blood on his face. Who's to see what happened, because during the scuffle, you hear a lot of the sound because he had a body cam and the mic and everything, but you don't see the actual shooting, you just hear it. So things like that, it happens to white people. This kid was unarmed, but there's a difference between a white kid who lunges at a cop after being tased, as opposed to a black guy who was alleged to have been trying to seize a taser from the gun, and after about 10-15 feet away is getting shot in the back. A black man. That's the difference. And unfortunately, some people will claim there's a level of race baiting, but in instances where you've seen unarmed black people getting killed, you don't see any instance of them attacking a cop, lunging at a cop. Sandra Bland, she certainly didn't lunge at a cop. She was arrested because she didn't want to put out a fucking cigarette while she was sitting in a car. Eric Garner, he didn't attack a cop. He was standing on a street corner, whether he was illegally selling cigarettes or not, but he was put into an illegal chokehold. John Crawford was walking into a store, picked up a BB gun, and some scary ass person called a cop on him. They come blasting into the store and shot this guy. Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old kid playing in a park, and the cops shot him. The damn car didn't even stop when the cop jumped out. If they told him to drop the gun, the car was still in motion when the cop jumped out, shot this kid, and the kid died. And they're trying to say that the shooting was justified. So if you don't understand the outrage of black people, if you don't understand the concept of Black Lives Matter, then you're part of the fucking problem. Anyway, if you like this video, hope that you like, subscribe, and share. Peace. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook.